if it's essential, if folks are going to need your service, your business, your skill set, regardless of, hey, lovely people, it's me, Jess, and I'm back with another video. Today, I am going to be talking about something I've been seeing all in the news, all over my YouTube feed, and it's basically about whether we are going into a recession. Now, I don't know if we are going into a recession. It certainly feels like it with the high inflation, with the slowdown in job growth. However, we won't officially know until we have two back-to-back quarters of an economic downturn. So what I want to talk about in this video, though, is jobs and industries that are typically seen as recession-proof based on their job growth or the need of that job. So thinking about a recession, right? This is a time where we're in an economic downturn, folks aren't spending as much, therefore companies aren't earning as many profits, and you will see different things like some companies actually closing shop, others finding ways to make cuts in their costs, which can relate to either less hiring, it can relate to cut wages, so lowering the payouts for their employees, or actually cutting a percentage of their staff with layoffs or furloughs. So all that being said, I think a lot of folks are just considering the fact that we may be in a recession or we may be heading into one, and would like to do some research into what are the industries, what are the jobs, what are some of the companies that are deemed recession proof. So I'm going to talk about that pretty briefly. The first one I'm going to talk about, let's just get this one out of the way. Most people generally think about a recession proof industry as the medical field. I don't care if you're thinking about nurses, doctors, physical therapists, occupational therapists, social workers, senior living staff, hospice workers. All of these type of jobs are pretty essential. I would even bucket pharmacy and pharmacy techs underneath that umbrella. Now, no job or industry is going to be 100% immune from a recession. And it may depend on what location you're in, right, and the needs. But generally, healthcare workers are less impacted during a time of a recession. So let's get that out of the way. Typically, these jobs are in growth rates already, so there's already a deficit in the labor needs. For example, physician assistants, they have a 31% growth rate. And if we already have a need there, if there's a recession, it's less likely that places are going to need to cut staff because they're already under the amount that they need to run efficiently. So now the next one I want to talk about is actually not an industry or a job that is known for having great pay, but it is going to be teachers. Teachers are typically essential if you're looking at elementary, middle school, high school, because these are funded by your governments, your local governments, right? And during a recession, during good times, children are still going to a school. So this is a job that is typically going to be fairly recession proof. And also alongside with education, if you think about what happens during downturns when people can't find jobs or folks are getting out of school and they can't find a job, a lot of folks tend to go back to school or decide to learn some new skills. So professors at universities and colleges also typically will have recession-proof jobs. A lot of professors that are already tenured are kind of locked in. So that would be another route of a recession-proof type of industry. Right along with that, thinking about our public servants, we have to talk about law enforcement. We have to talk about our firefighters, our, police force, everyone that supports everything that keeps us safe and generally and running as a society. So your law enforcement, your firefighters, and everything that kind of goes under that bucket, under that umbrella, detectives. Now, when we look at crime rates, generally, there are some years that this didn't happen during a recession, but generally crime rates go up. Well, and if you think about it, people have more time. What do people do when they're in need? You may resort to some activities that are not the best for society, right? I'm trying to be careful there. But yeah, public servants are typically needed more so in times of downturn. Next, I want to talk about utilities. These are industries like waste management, water, electrical, plumbing, anything kind of under that umbrella that would need to be in place for us to run effectively. During a recession, there isn't just trash all over the place. We still are paying for waste management services. During a recession, people still need clean water. We still need lighting, and we still need things to run effectively in our businesses and our homes. So this is another industry that I would say is recession-proof, given that the needs for that is still going to be very high. Okay, the next one. I'm actually going to talk about accountants and auditors. Now, finance folks on Wall Street, we see them hit hard during recessions. However, accountants, your staff and corporate accountants, your tax accountants generally, and your auditors are still going to be needed because taxes still have to be paid, right? The books still need to be closed, and they're even more so needed because of the different things that companies will do generally to cut costs, lower their tax fees, all of that. So accountants, auditors, they're still needed for business. It still has to happen, right? So these roles are actually going to be less affected. The next thing I want to talk about this is kind of an industry. It goes into, I would say, utilities. But when you think about times of recession, typically folks aren't buying new things. So you're not buying a new car, you're not buying a new tech gadget, you're not buying the new phone. You're going to try to hang on to it as long as you can if you're smart, right? So auto mechanics, used car dealerships, your repair techs, all of these different fields are likely going to have an increase in customers because folks are holding onto their computers and phones and cars for a longer period of time. Whereas in a year where there may be a recession, folks may say, hey, let's not buy a new car this year. Let's just hold on to this one. Let's get some things done with it, right? Let's just repair the PC instead of getting a whole new one because it'll run you into a couple $1,000s, right? So this is another space that is often seen as recession-proof. The last one I want to talk about is going to be IT support. A lot of different tech roles that are very specialized. Keyword, I am saying specialized. IT support generally is not going to go away during a recession. Now, can IT support staff be affected? Yes. But if you're a really good IT support person, most companies are going to keep you because they want to have on-site staff that can fix computers versus employees are breaking their computers and we need new computers, right? People that can fix issues quickly and help employees get back to work because, again, during a downturn, we're looking at ways to cut staff, so everyone has to be very efficient. That's the last one I want to talk about, but generally, I just want to make these couple of points. No industry, no job is going to be 100% immune from a recession. It is a downturn. People are spending less. every recession looks slightly different, but there's, some key aspects to it that are common. The needs stick, luxury items kind of go down, retail may suffer, construction would suffer because there's not as many houses built and different businesses may not be built during that time because of the investment needed to put into it. Wall Street typically hit, right? So there are the industries that we know are likely going to be hit during recessions, and these that I'm sharing are likely to be less impacted during a recession. Now, generally speaking, any skill that's very specialized, if you're the only person in your company that does this thing that is necessary for the company to function, that could be a sign that you're in a recession-proof job where you're at, right? Even within IT, there's certain jobs that are very specialized, like security and networking and different skills like that are likely going to be recession-proof. If it's essential, if folks are going to need your service, your business, your skill set, regardless of, if things are booming or things are down. For example, people are typically going to get injured at any point in time. That is a necessity to have healthcare workers. Things are going to break, so it is essential to have folks that can repair things. Plumbing and essential things that we need to live our lives, well, it's essential. What are you going to do if your plumbing goes out? You're going to figure out a way to get it fixed, likely, right? So thinking in these terms is how I came up with this list. If you have other ideas, other professions that you think are recession-proof, let me know. The last one that I did leave out is just a little bit, on the dark side, but it is funeral services. That's typically something that is always going to happen. Everything has an end date. So that would be the last one on the list. But if you have other thoughts, let me know. I would love to hear what you would foresee as a recession-proof job. I'm hoping we're not going into a recession, right? I'm optimistically saying that. However, I will say personally, it's starting to feel like we're already in one. I don't know how long it will last. Typically, recessions don't last, years and years. So we got to look on the bright side, but also think about how we can prepare. So I hope this is helpful. If you're searching this topic, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, lovely people.